Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year again. I have a lot of news to talk to you about, including a book that I want to discuss, and I'll probably be discussing more often, but I want to also discuss some comments that I received in the comments section. In addition to the older video that I just posted today, I reposted. It's actually on my channel from a couple of years ago, like 5 years ago. That I posted, that I reposted. So I reposted it again, just so that you can see what's going on here in Jackson County, Kentucky, because of that video that I posted today of that creepy creature crossing in front of my house with a bolt cutter and a pistol was October 1, 2019. And just for the record, I moved here the end of May 2019, and I did not move into this house, this brand new house, until mid-July 2019. So within 3 months, less than 3 months, that creature was in front of my house and actually shot that weapon, which is in the next image that I did not repost. It's on my channel already. Because for some reason, I can't imagine why, when I play it, you don't hear the sound anymore. And that's happened to a lot of my videos. Which, if I had it forensically analyzed again, it would prove that somebody altered my video. But anyway, thank you for the comments on that. And yes, I've got a lot of evidence. I've collected a lot of evidence. And anyone, because I've been contacted about wanting to contact my sheriff on my behalf. Anybody who wants to do that, you are welcome to email him. You can create a video and tag him. You can go to my Facebook page, McKee, Kentucky Uncensored, and post there. Yes, because that's the page that I created, and it's called Uncensored for a reason. I created one in Manalapan, New Jersey, because not everybody wants to report the truth in New Jersey either, since most of the groups in New Jersey are run by the real estate agents anyway. Yeah. Talk about a conflict of interest, but yeah, so I created one for Manalapan called Manalapan, New Jersey Uncensored. And I actually hid it when I moved here, but I made it live again. So anybody who wants to post in Manalapan, New Jersey, including my own self, can do so. So, yeah, so anybody who wants the information for the sheriff, please email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. There's also the Attorney General. We've also got our local judge executive, although he's also useless. But you can also contact the well, no, actually, the sheriff is supposed to be the law, the law of the land, right? So he's the one that you would contact. And if he chooses to ignore it, the karma always falls back on the individual who has within its power to do something about it and chooses to not. Okay, that's just the way it works. So now I heard in the news this morning, that there was a mass shooting in New Orleans, Louisiana last night. Ironically, they had 300 police that were dispatched there for the evening because, you know, it's New Year's Eve, so why not spend all that money on 300 cops, right? And of course, nothing really happened until later when a white pickup truck, I don't know, that's a red flag for me, right here. I mean, white pickup trucks in New Jersey. I mean, every targeted person I know has commented on a white pickup truck. They're all over the place. They must have like a great rental agreement. And yes, this happened to have been a rental vehicle in Texas. But of course, they're not telling us who was driving it. Who was driving the vehicle. They don't want to tell you the color of the individual or anything like that. So anyway, but unfortunately some people lost their lives, some people are in the hospital, and I'm sure there'll be more casualties mentioned, and it's just a horrible thing. But once again, it is amazing how me and you as a targeted person can be surveilled 24/7, round the clock for years and years and years. They know everything we're doing. They know when I pee. They know when I'm going to feed my cats. They actually know when I'm going to go to my front door As I get up, and in my mind, I'm thinking about going to my front door, and lo and behold, some criminal drives by at the exact same time. So I can be surveilled 24/7. They know everything I do. But none of these intel agencies have prevented any mass shooting. None. Zero. Our tax dollars hard at work. Okay? So what do they do? Well, I mean, you know. You know what they do. They instigate trouble. It's called job security. We don't really need them, because everybody kind of minds their own business here. That's why they had to bring in a whole bunch of intruders to instigate trouble. Right? So that was the news. That was the news. I received an email from a subscriber. Thank you, Deb. I did not know it was on anywhere. And this is how operatives, contractors, slander and falsify and twist information with lies of omission. I'm not going to say the name of the creature, but everybody knows who the Gorilla Boy is. Okay, the Gorilla Boy, who under another alias, okay, because the Gorilla One had so many strikes against him from all of my subscribers commenting on his videos, reporting him, including my reporting his channel to the Attorney General here. But anyway, as you know, I was on Neighborhood Wars on A&E, April 11, 2023. I made a deal with Neighborhood Wars that I wouldn't post the video on my channel. In fact, I did not even see the recording for weeks after it had already aired. Why? I don't have a TV. I don't have like any kind of subscription to view videos or otherwise. I had to rely on other people who did have TV that sent me a link so that I can click on it to see myself weeks later. And then one of my friends was able to create a link only of my portion that only worked for a short while. It doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked in months. I never posted it to my YouTube channel. I agreed to not post it to the YouTube channel, and I abide by my agreement. But what I did do is I created a video announcing that I would be on Neighborhood Wars and providing the links to the videos that I provided to Neighborhood Wars. But what Gorilla do? What did this little fucker do? He posted a video a year ago about me, saying that he hopes that I get a copyright strike. But basically what he did is he went online and grabbed the video, posted it on his YouTube channel, tagging me. It's not on my channel. I didn't post it. I don't have a TV, and I signed an agreement to not post it. So I didn't. But this is how operatives work, right? He's spreading slander, defamation, and misinformation. And with regard to YouTube, that is against community guidelines when you spread misinformation. And what he did is he took the video online that Neighborhood Wars created, downloaded it to his channel, tagged me, and said that he's warning me about my copyright strike. Excuse me? I don't have it on my channel. I don't even have subscription. So this is how Fusion Center operatives work. CIA operatives. Whatever he is, I don't really care. He's a liar. Just like my neighbors lie. Okay? They all lie. So now I wanted to read something that somebody commented on, and it's the 2 banned perps video, subscriber comments that I called the FBI my favorite Bureau of Investigation. So somebody evidently, and thank you for this, had performed a little research on my area. This is Sam Gabbard. I hope you're not related to that Judgy Pudgy over here. I hope not, although Gabbard is a very common name around here. Okay? Tulsi Gabbard has the same last name, and she's not from McKee. he says as follows: been a lot of drownings connected to the Sparks family. And Travis Sparks owned this property. And most are buried in McKee Cemetery up on the hill behind the old courthouse. The prior owner of your farm had a 20-year-old sister to drown herself. This was in the 1940s. Then in early 1970s, that's 30 years later, a nephew of theirs died at Camp Andrew Jackson by drowning. Maybe in 1996, then a small child died, which would have been a great nephew, and on the bank of the creek there, its last name was Johnson, which was his sister's grandchild. Go to the local library or visit the cemetery. Excuse me. Well, thank you so much for that. I didn't know the history of the property. Now, this is my opinion, just an opinion. This is for educational purposes only. Some drownings do occur accidentally. People do slip and fall. A young child could definitely drown in a backyard swimming pool. I mean, this can happen. It happens with animals. Although I know for a fact that people are often pushed and done deliberately. I mean, look at, what's her name? Natalie, I'm forgetting her name. You know, the actress, years and years ago, Natalie Wood. You know, they're claiming that it was an accident. I'm sorry, folks. That was no accident. I'm just saying. So now I can see with a young child that could certainly be an accident. Children do slip and fall. People don't pay attention to them. But a 20-year-old sister to drown herself, do you have any idea how hard it would be to do that? Because the body's natural reflex response is to breathe. So how does that happen? Unless somebody's in really deep water and doesn't know how to swim. Okay? And then at the local camp, that a nephew of theirs died at the camp up the block drowning. And this tends to be every 30 years, like the gentleman said, every 33 years that they have a drowning. Well, I don't believe that this is an accident, okay? I don't believe that some of this is accidental. I believe some people are deliberately pushed. So, but thank you for that history. I wasn't aware of it. I mean, just as I would not be aware of the history of almost any property around here. When I lived at 52 Sutton Drive in Manalapan, New Jersey, I was the original owner. It was new construction. So there was literally no history there, other than it was this huge open cornfield. That's all it was, a big cornfield that a developer purchased and built houses on. So there was really no history, other than it being a cornfield. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Very interesting. Very, very interesting, for sure. Other comments, and let me just, I want to bookmark this, because this is a very important comment. I received a comment from C. Elizabeth. Thank you. Happiest New Year to you, Lorraine. Thank you for all you do, for all the education you provide us, the support you offer, your willingness to share the battle they put you through from dirty, rotten underbelly criminals and cronies that are complicit. May the sheriff and judge get some gonads and stand up for justice in that small town you live, along with the rest of the forces they both control in that town. You are certainly admired and a beacon of hope. I'm quite sure I'm not the only one who sees you as such. Your fearlessness is something I personally admire. As day by day you go about your life in the midst of more than a tornado. They don't strike often, tornadoes, yet the criminals strike daily, and you keep on going, letting nothing stop you. May this day and New Year be a change of greatness and pure peace in your life and that of your pets. anxiously awaiting the interviews with the media. Let freedom ring and reign again. Once again. Yes, I will have 2 interviews. Not with the media. I'm looking forward to interviewing with the media. One has gotten back to me, but nothing's been set up there. I will have another interview with David Atkinson, in the month of January. And, let me get it here. Miss Mosley on Unveiling Shadows, on her Unveiling Shadows podcast. Let's see. I want to say something about your comment about that I keep on going. Both of my parents were really hard workers, and they instilled within me the perseverance and they always told me that I could do anything I want in this lifetime. Even though we grew up somewhat poor, they were hardworking. My mother worked her butt off, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. They instilled in me being a hard worker and never giving up. And also that I could do anything that I want in this lifetime. And I agree. I grew up with that mindset. I did not grow up with the mindset with trauma-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse. My parents were not like that. My father was brilliant. He would be considered a genius. In fact, my brother gave me my father's IQ score. I don't remember it right now, but he is in the genius level. He worked for IBM in the International Research Department. They stole a lot of his ideas. But when I was going through my horrific, disgusting divorce, I still remained positive. I mean, how could you not? All I wanted was a divorce. Everybody who gets a divorce files and gets divorced generally within 1.5 years. Not me. Mine took 3.5 years. I had horrific, disgusting lawyers financially rape me. And then when I reported them, they more than likely stuck me in this program. And one of them, my ex-husband's divorce lawyer from Red Bank, New Jersey, what a piece of crap he was. He personality tested me because he felt that I should not be starting my own business, that I need to go back to the workforce. I need to go back to the real world and get a job there. And basically back then, if I had not left the workforce, I would have been in the 6 figures earning capacity as a corporate human resources manager, a 50, pension administrator, workers' comp administrator, and I did all the tax returns. Yeah, I was like a Jane of all trades. And I did it all myself, and I taught myself. So yes, I would have been earning 6 figures back then, but instead, to stay home with my daughter, I chose to start my own businesses, and I did pretty good for myself. But they sabotaged that every step of the way by keeping me in court non-stop to get a damn divorce. And during that time, I was in court all the time. But I became very spiritual. I started reading all the books about divorce and relationships and spirituality. And I purchased a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a landmark bestseller, revised and updated for the 21st century. I love this book. This is like, I have a lot of favorite books because I love astrology books. So I've got favorite astrology books. I've got favorite books. I've got favorite tarot cards. But this is like one of my favorite inspirational books. And I've read it so many times already. And I've decided that I'm going to read a lot of this on my channel. And in the live streams also. And this is the reason why. One of the primary takeaways that I got from this book was that almost every person who was successful in history never gave up. They didn't give up. They had a burning desire within them to succeed. And the people who did not succeed would give up just before their ultimate success. This is why you should never give up. The people who gave up just before they were going to be successful. And every wealthy person in history never gave up. They had a burning desire. And they focused on that desire. They wanted it so badly. I'm going to give you just a quick example. And this wasn't even a burning desire for me. Maybe it was. So I had this burning desire as this divorced single mom working 4 jobs that my daughter get a good education, and I could not afford it. I could not afford it. I applied everywhere for grants and stuff, and my daughter took all the tests. I drove her everywhere for all the academic tests. And she ended up getting into like this grade program that I think like only 36 kids get into, even though more than 300 applied. And she got into the course. But later on, after she graduated high school, that was high school, by the way. That was high school. That was the medical science program. Only about 36, 42 kids can get in. My daughter got in. Because I did all the things like a good parent does. I made sure that she did her homework. If she faltered in some area, I got her a tutor. Even though I was a divorced single mom working 4 jobs and could barely pay my bills, I made sure that my daughter got the best possible education, because you can only do it once. And of course I knew, because of the way she was raised, that she wasn't going to goof off. She would succeed. So when she was applying to graduate schools, I was behind the scenes secretly writing to many of the programs that she would be applying to. One of which was actually not one that I wanted her to go to. I didn't want her to go to California. But I really, really like what these people were doing. And I was in contact with one of the university professors there. And I would just correspond with this person about my daughter's progression after she got into graduate school and what she was doing, what she was studying. Well, I don't even know how it happens. But after my daughter received, I think it was her first master's degree, she published her research. And unbeknownst to me, it was in the same journal that I was corresponding with all those years. So it's just amazing. So I'm going to read to you a little bit here. That when an opportunity comes, sometimes it appears in a different form. It may come from a different direction than what you expect. That's one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and it often comes disguised in the form of a misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize the opportunity. Now, this is about Thomas Edison. Yeah. Mr. Edison had just perfected a new office device known at that time as the Edison dictating machine, later called the Ediphone. His salesmen were not enthusiastic over the machine. They did not believe it could be sold at great effort. But Barnes, this man named Barnes, saw this opportunity. It had crawled in quietly, hidden. Let me turn the page here. And looking at the machine that interested no one but Barnes, this man, and the inventor. Barnes knew he could sell the Edison dictating machine. He suggested this to Edison and promptly got his chance. Now, this is a man who'd been trying to work with Edison for a long time. He had a burning desire. He did sell the machine, and in fact, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the nation. Out of that business association grew the slogan, "Made by Edison and installed by Barnes." This business alliance made Barnes rich in money, but he accomplished something infinitely greater. He proved that one really may think and grow rich. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. I'm going to repeat that. The most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. This is only on page 5. It's called 3 feet from gold. When you give up, you're 3 feet from success. I'm going to skip to page 9. It taught me to keep on going no matter how hard the going may be. A lesson I learned to learn. I needed to learn before I could succeed at anything. I'll repeat that. It taught me to keep on no matter how hard the going may be. A lesson I needed to learn before I could succeed at anything. Riches begin with a state of mind, with a definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work. You and every other person ought to be interested in knowing how to acquire a state of mind that attracts riches. I spent 25 years in research, analyzing more than 25,000 people because I too wanted to know how wealthy men became that way. Without that research, this book could not have been written. Take notice of a very significant truth. The business depression started in 1929 and continued with an all-time record of destruction until sometime after President Roosevelt entered office. Then the Great Depression began to fade into nothingness. Just as an electrician in a theater raises the lights, so gradually that darkness is transmuted into light before you realize it. So did the spell of fear in the minds of the people, who gradually faded away and became faith. As soon as you master the principles of this philosophy and begin to follow the instructions for applying those principles, your financial status will begin to improve. Everything you touch will begin to transmute itself into the assets for your benefit. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average person's familiarity with the word, quote-unquote, impossible. He knows all the rules that will not work. He knows all the things that cannot be done. This book was written for those who seek the rules that have made others successful and are willing to stake everything on those rules. Success comes to those who become success conscious. That means you never give up. Go right ahead. This is Henry Ford. He says, I want it and I will have it. I want it and I'll have it. One of these is desire. You have to know what you want. You have to know what you want. If you can do this, if you can lay your finger on the particular group of principles that made Henry Ford rich, you can equal his achievements in almost any calling for which you are suited. I want it, and I will have it. The power of your thoughts. We have the power to control our thoughts. We have to transmute our thoughts into their physical equivalent. We have the power to control our thoughts, transmute them into a physical reality. Our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts we hold in our minds. By means which no one is familiar, these magnets attract to us the forces, the people, the circumstances of life which harmonize with the nature of our dominating thoughts. And that's what these criminal losers, they want us to focus on them. And we're all guilty. I'm guilty of it, right? I'm guilty of it. I'm totally guilty. We must magnetize our minds with intense desire for riches, for this program to end, this program to be exposed. And all of those were in a position to make a change and chose to not. Chose to go along to get along. All the sheriffs across the country, like that one in Pasco County that was caught red-handed by the Institute for Justice, or the one right here in Jackson County, or in every state, chose to go along to get along and not do their job and violate their oaths of office, not report the crimes taking place, not photograph the evidence, do nothing. We need to magnetize our minds with intense desire for riches, that we become money conscious until the desire for money, the desire for this exposure, the desire for this to end, the desire for arrests, the desire for compensation is all that we think about. The desire is the starting point for all achievement. It must be consuming obsession of the life. It's a burning desire. I'm going to end on that note so that this doesn't become this whole soliloquy, but I will be reading more from this book. And I highly recommend that you can buy a used copy of this for just a couple of bucks. In fact, buy a few copies because you never know where they disappear to, right? So anyway, I'm trying to think what else I need to say. Oh, yes. So anyway, evidently I had to be re-educated by TheyTube. After they took down my community post about the triangle that was cut into my right forearm, the perfect triangle that just missed my vein. On May 1st, 2024, approximately 5 p.m., it was taken down. And I don't have a strike. It was just like a warning. They took it down. They said that it was due to graphic content. I did appeal it. They immediately said no. But when you appeal it, you don't have the option to tell them anything or edit the photo, like add more information to it. So they just took it down. So the person, the subscriber who forwarded it to Twitter, I sent you an email and I attached the image and you could use it anywhere you want. And I provided you some language that you may use. So anybody who wants a copy of that photo, email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I wanted to expose that I am being tortured here in Jackson County, Kentucky, in my own home, on my own property. And that triangle, everybody that's seen it says, there was no cat that did it. And by the way, I was wearing a long sleeve sweatshirt and a compression long sleeve shirt, and neither one of them had any damage to either shirt. The only damage was that they were blood soaked. And when I say blood soaked, yes. And for the comment on redirecting me to Tony Pantallarosco, if that's his name, Tony Pantalaresco, about salt. Well, when I moved here, an Amish man actually wanted to buy my property, but he wanted to pay me for it what I paid for it. I said, you're kidding me, right? He was going to pay me cash for exactly what I paid for it, but I had already just put in, like, I don't know, $100,000 of stuff between the buildings and the driveway and the septic and all that stuff. And I said no, but he did buy a few things for me, and it ends up, he ended up moving his whole Amish village to another state. But he gave me a secret about salt, S-A-L-T. And he said anytime he gets a wound or a bug bite or whatever, he just throws salt on it, and salt just draws it out. Well, when I was totally traumatized by being not only attacked by the cat who attached himself to my legs, I still have the marks on my legs since May, and it's January. The first thing I did was I got into the shower and I took a whole bunch of Epsom salt and I threw it. I literally rubbed it all over those wounds, and I threw it into my arm, even though it was killing me. It was literally killing me. I couldn't look at my wound. I was so traumatized by it. The fact that it missed my vein, and I'm a very veiny person, by the way. You can see I'm like a very veiny person. My arms are veiny. Like, even before I was working out, they were veiny. I even had a guy that I dated, he thought that the veins of my arms were sexy, and I was like, I can't stand the veins of my arm, you know? But they just protrude, you know? I'm a thin woman, and I'm a veiny person. So, yeah, they almost got my vein. That could have been really, I could have bled out at that point. But, you know, these energy weapons, they are precise. They knew exactly where to cut, where that wouldn't happen. Because, you know, they want to keep me alive for more satanic ritual abuse rituals. And that was on May Day, May 1st, 2024, approximately 5 p.m. So anybody that wants a copy of that, email me at alternativehomestead@gmail.com. I'm happy to share my triangle wounds with anybody who wants to share it, who wants to see it. I know it made one person so ill that she couldn't look at it. I can't look at it. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. This is an oil painting I was thrilled to win. Jeff Claudio on eBay. I mean, generally his paintings go for a lot of money, but every once in a while, nobody will bid on them. You know, certain times of the year, like now where people don't have money, you go to bid on an item and you'll just get it at a really low price. And I got this one entitled Hummingbird. You can see here. Oil painting, ACO, Jeff Claudio. Love it, love it. Beautiful, beautiful little hummingbird. So anyway, please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. And I'll talk to you later.